Right, welcome back to the channel. We're here today as we've got the E-Class Mercedes convertible on the ramp, ready for dismantling. So I said we had around 34 parts to take off. We'll get taking those parts off, see if there's anything else we can salvage and go from there. Now I'm not going to be getting my hands dirty, we have the professionals here for that, so I'll introduce you to Ash in a minute. We have two dismantling facilities here at Trent's. The one behind me just there is what we call our BH1 facility. That's where we dismantle kind of the vehicles, the lower end vehicles where we might take 30 or parts or less. And they'll go down like a dismantling line, but here in our all-in-one facility, we dismantle higher end vehicles where we're taking more parts off or more trickier parts like airbag kits, etc. So as you can see here, we've got the Mercedes convertible on the ramp here. That's had a heavy impact. If we come around the side here, you'll see again, it's been a rollover. So we've had a few issues with it. We haven't been able to get it started. So it's really important for us we try and extract that engine and gearbox and that value from the vehicle, otherwise we are going to be out of pocket. And that does happen, especially when in rollovers. They can cause a few issues, you know, depending on if it was running, etc. at the time and everything. So I'll introduce you to Ash, we'll talk through what we're going to do with the vehicle and we'll go from there. So everyone, this is Ash. So Ash, just tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with Trent's?
Been around about 8 years now.
8 years. And when did you didn't start in this facility here in the all-in-one workshop? Where did you start in Trent's?
We started in the old workshop, which is no longer here, no more.
Yeah.
And then up here.
Exactly, yeah. There's been a lot of change that's happened since then in those 8 years. So
yeah, 8 years, yeah. It's a lot of change.
It's crazy, crazy.
New BH1 building, everything.
Exactly. We'll watch out for the car coming through there actually while we're here. But what do you think of this car, Ash? So this is the first one I've seen us have in. They're not as common. Would you drive one?
It probably was nice back in the day. Yeah, I'll definitely drive one. But being a hybrid.
It's true. I didn't realise it was a hybrid until I started looking into the details and everything. So we're taking the hybrid battery out as well, aren't we, on that one?
So in the boot.
It's in the boot, which we're struggling to get into at the moment, aren't we?
Deadlocked.
So if we go round here. Yeah, deadlocked, isn't it? So what's our kind of a plan of attack here then, Ash, to get this open?
I think the plan would be to hopefully cut a hole through the boot.
Yeah.
So we can get to the lock and then hopefully she'll open up.
Yeah, so we'll get the tail light out,
Yep.
the inner tail lights out here.
Yep.
Luckily this boot is damaged, otherwise we wouldn't have done that. We might have to think of a different plan of attack.
Yeah, that would be a different, complete different
We
plan.
didn't inventory the bumper originally, but I've asked them to, but do you reckon that's salvageable?
Well,
I think it looked like it might be alright.
I think it's just slight scrape there, isn't it?
Yeah, slightly. We'll see.
As soon as it comes off, we'll have a further look.
A deeper look on that one. So we're going to do the boot first then.
Yep.
Let's see if we can get that open, because that will help us get to a few more parts. And then what's the plan of attack from here?
So, depending on what we've got. So I think the exhaust will be coming off. We'll get the engine out first.
And so we drop the engine on the subframe, yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic, okay.
There's all the other bits. So we've got the front, the bumper's got to come off. Get the airbag out.
Well, we'll start on that one. We'll get Matt. Is Matt going to help on this one? Yeah, Matt will help on this one. I'll help where I can on a few little bits. Maybe I'll take the lights out or something. But I'll leave you to the.
Sure, you don't want to take the engine out.
Say that again?
Sure you don't want to take the engine out?
I've done a few jobs here in my time, but not dismantling, unfortunately, so no. I'll keep an eye on you, make sure you're not breaking anything. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. We have got to get the wheels off.
Haven't got the wheels off
we haven't
first.
got the lock and wheel nut key. So it's going to be
That's one thing we haven't inventoried is any wheels. What do you think of them? Is any of them? There was a question in the comments, I believe, about the wheels. I know there's been a few marks there, isn't there? That's not looking too good, that one.
Yeah, I don't know if we can get refurb.
Yeah, they might best get refurbed. We'll have a look. We can get them see if they're, make sure they're straight and everything. And see what value there is in them. You know, we'll look at eBay, look at the marketplaces and see what's there. So yeah, perfect, right.
As long as there's not oval damage onto them.
Exactly, yeah. So we'll check them all. So we want to supply quality parts. We don't want to supply anything returned. That's why a lot of the electrical parts on here we haven't inventoried, because there's clearly water damage in the car in some places. So we can't guarantee, we can't test those parts, so we're not going to put them in stock. So, right, Ash, are you ready?
Ready to rock and roll.
Let's get cracking then. Come on.
Safety first.
Right, so we've got the panel off there, Ash.
One side of the panel.
Just the outside panels. Are you going to cut through that as well, are you?
Yeah.
Or you reckon you can get to the latch of some sort?
No, it's going to have to go through.
Oh, that bit looked a bit tough for that one.
That was tough, yeah. So now, you can't get to the lock. I might just
looks
cut
like
that
there's
completely
some
off.
surprises in the boot as well. So this has now become a 3-man job, or 2.5 men, since I'm supervising, I'll call it.
That's generous being 2.5.
Matt's helping. Matt's been here a long time as well. You're part of the furniture now, Matt.
Part of the furniture, mate.
How long is? I dare get it wrong. Is it over 10 years now, isn't it?
Yeah, 11 years now, mate.
11 years, yeah. So if Matt's not at work, he's racing around a go-kart track.
Beating you?
Beating me, yeah. So while the guys are sorting the boot out there, trying to get the lock open, just a little bit about this facility. So this is what we call our all-in-one facility. As I mentioned previously, we tend to take dismantle vehicles where we take 30 parts off or more, or where we're taking some difficult parts off, like the airbag kits, and we just need a little bit more time compared to the dismantling lines that we have up in our BH1 facility there. So you can see we have a few cars over here right now. So all the equipment in here is designed just to make the job easy, quickly, look after the staff, look after the parts. So you'll see this 72 plate vehicle, which I can't tell what that is right there. You'll see it's managed to tilt it up around sort of 45 degrees, so we can access the bolts under the vehicle and drop that powertrain all out at once. Once that subframe comes out, that will move into our BH1 facility to get processed separately with the other parts. So think of it as I would, it's lean techniques, lean manufacturing. As one part gets dismantled, that can move on to the next stages and get dismantled further. So yeah, we're dealing with all kinds of cars in here. So from this MG here to, you'll see at the back there, we have some vans, from the Sprinters to the Vivaros. We do get some higher end vehicles in here. So we've had a Rolls-Royce Dawn in here before. We've had BMW XM in here recently. So, you know, we'll take hundreds of parts off them and put them on the shelf. There's some vehicles that are so new, it's hard for us to know what the demand is. So we will be a little bit estimate some of that demand, put the parts on the shelf, see what they sell. Just because they're so new, there's not as much demand out there, because the parts are unlikely to go wrong, and there's just not as many on the road. So yeah, so you'll see there's some parts left on the vehicle. This is still dismantling yet, so we've still got to drop the subframe, but we'll leave things like the windshields in. Windshields, glass, they're very difficult to remove. They need sort of specialist tools and everything. Obviously we'll remove all the doors to scrap them, because we want to take parts off, things such as the window motors, the mechanisms, the door handles, and the glass. Sometimes we'll sell it complete, depending on what other parts we want for that vehicle. if we're selling to the insurance body shop, so insurance work, which is really picked up here in the UK, 50% of them want them stripped bare as they would receive a manufacturer's part. So we'll strip parts to order, dependent on the customer as well. So, right, Ashton, we're in. How was that in the end?
Fun and games, as always.
There's a few little bits and bobs in there.
Yeah, got to get the battery out.
Got to get the battery out. I know you said there was a lock and wheel nut key.
Yep.
Which makes life a lot easier getting them wheels off.
That's for you. Would you like some gloves?
No, I'll get my hands
You're
dirty.
going hardcore.
But this is something I can definitely do. I have had to change 2 wheels from flat tyres previously. Oh, hang on, I'd work this one out. There you go. Let's do this. I'll start for the rear one, shall I?
You crack on.
I'm keeping the bolts here, so we like to recycle everything, and these do have a different scrap value to normal, other materials and everything. So I'll keep them there for now. Oh, is it loose now? Yeah.
She's loose now, eh?
Go on then. There we go. There we go. One wheel off. No one can say I don't get my hands dirty now. Oh, I'm out of breath after that. Oh.
Only got 3 more to do.
So, tyres. Tyres are one of the most depolluting parts of a vehicle. So, it makes it really tough for business. Like, it actually costs us to scrap tyres. It used to cost us around £1.30 a tyre, but actually, due to sort of advancements in technology, being able to recycle them a little bit, that's come down to 30p, so big improvement. But that's tough, when you tend to get 4 tyres per vehicle, that scrap value can be a lot. So we do try and extract the tyre value. So we do have a retail tyre shop here, down in Poole. We'll only stock Part 1 tyres 6mm and above for retail, and then from around 4mm to 5mm, or just under 6, we'll sell to wholesalers around the local area, other Part 1 tyre places, and then anything kind of just above 2mm will go to export. Anything below that is scrap. Obviously we'll check for any other signs that means the tyre's no good. We're starting to find some of the newer tyres are starting to sort of wear a bit easier and everything, and let's talk about electric vehicles. People say obviously they're cheaper to run. A big thing with electric vehicles, they're a lot heavier. So some people are finding that the tyres are wearing a lot quicker just because of the weight of the vehicles. So yes, okay, they'll be cheaper for things like fuel, but in terms of like brake pads and tyres and serviceable parts, they can be more wear and tear just due to the weight of them. One thing I noticed we didn't have inventory is the inner wing liners here. So I'll do a bit of research on them to see if we should stock them. Potentially maybe once the suspension's dropped out, we'll have a look at that as well. Things like the calipers, they may go to core. We don't tend to sell them for retail. We'll sell them to a company like Borg who will remanufacture them and white label them, and they'll end up in places like Euro car parts remanufactured. And even the brake discs, when it comes to the brake discs, obviously we don't sell any second-hand brake pads or brake discs, but the brake discs have a different scrap value to the normal materials, so we do separate them just to extract as much value from the vehicle as possible. And on this one, for the price we paid for it, we need to do that. Ash managed to take off the other 3 wheels, as you could tell, and no doubt you're going to say it in the comments, my skills to take off the first wheel were shocking. So I'll leave him to do the rest of that. But we've done what we need to do just to prep the car. Now we're going to take the engine and box out and the other parts that we've inventoried, and like I said, I'll do a bit of research on the inner wing liners and potentially just a bit of other parts. But for now, let's get dismantling. through to the final bits of dismantling, taking a few parts off, and we'll go through them in a minute. So, Ash, now we've got to drop the engine and gearbox.
Yep.
How are we going to do it from here?
So yeah, we're going to undo the struts,
Yep.
undo the bolts from underneath from the subframe,
Okay.
and then we're going to undo the rear axle. And that should, hopefully.
Fantastic. And once that's out, are we going to remove the rad pack? Because
Yeah.
we've got to send this engine box to run and test. How are we going to send it to them?
So yeah, we're going to take the rad pack off.
Yep.
The engine will come off the subframe.
Yep.
And it will go straight over to run test.
Fantastic. Okay, well let's get cracking then, shall we?
Yep, let's rock and roll.
Perfect. So Ash, this engine's all depolluted from all the fuel, liquids and everything, isn't it? So
yes. Yeah.
those all get collected in a
depolluted earlier on.
Depolluted earlier on. So they're all in a recycled plant. The fuels like the petrol, diesel, anything we get from any of the vehicles will reuse. So diesel we reuse in our trucks that go out on the road. Petrol gets used, staff incentives and everything, so we'll use as much as possible from all these vehicles. I'll let you do the honours, Ash. Lift off. Oh, isn't there somewhere?
There's always one last bolt, one last pipe.
That's another thing that we do here, Ash. So once this engine and box is out, how much wiring will you pull out after for recycling?
Everything that's on
Everything
the...
that's possible, yeah. So
well, it's got to go through run and test first,
yeah.
and then once it comes back, all the wire will come.
Yeah, so we'll pull all the wiring out. And
That's it.
we usually started that a while ago when the copper prices started raising, and that's one of the worst jobs I used to have in the yard here. Go back to the original facility down there. Remember, we had the machines to put it through. We used to have to cut all the plugs off on the end, be able to put it through the machines. Now, luckily, we don't need to do that, but yeah, that was probably the worst job I've had here on that one. So, what I'm intrigued, once we get this out and start expecting it, is where it's had a rollover. Has there been any damage sustained to the engine and box? I think that's going to be a really key sign as well.
Well, I already saw
Okay.
this was broken off.
Okay. Which pipe's that? Do we know which pipe
that's
that is?
That's just a coolant pipe.
Okay.
Going to the back of the engine. So far.
Okay, so there's been a few little pipes damaged, but that doesn't mean it's not any good, so there we go. Well, that's the whole engine gearbox dropped out again with the subframe, the rear axle, the prop shaft, exhaust, the diff. We've also inventoried the rear diff as well on this vehicle. I don't think we've inventoried any of the suspension. I saw the
rear suspension's been inventoried.
Rear suspension's been inventoried, which is good. So that'll get checked over, make sure it's all straight. I can see there's damage obviously to the front suspension there, so we're going to avoid that. So yeah, next steps. I'm presuming we're going to disconnect.
Take the prop shaft off, disconnect the exhaust from the engine and the rear subframe.
Okay, fantastic.
And then she's ready to go.
Okay, cool. So we'll get that split down. We'll get the engine in box to run and test, so we can test that further and make sure it's good for stock, fingers crossed. But let's have a quick look at what we've removed so far from this vehicle. So we said there's 34 parts. There's still a few on the subframe there and everything. So right here we've got the air ride compressor. Just over here, this foam plastic bit, so it's just part of the central absorber there, which also has the fluid pipe, I believe that is, on that one. We've even gone for the rear camera. That in stock, so that will pop open on these vehicles. ABS pump, steering wheel airbag, the front grille camera on that one, and this is part of Ash inventoried, but he noticed this that we didn't inventory at the time, which was the sunroof motor, Ash, that one, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's got the sunroof motor in. We haven't sold one of them before, but it's a common part that can go on other vehicles. We did actually inventory the headlamp ballast from both sides, as you can see there. That's the offside one there, but you can see there's water damage to the near side one, so that's going to go in the scrap bin. And if you know what this is a hybrid high voltage battery. So this was fitted in the boot, Ash, wasn't it?
No, this was in the left corner.
Oh, it was in the left. Okay, fantastic. That shows what I know about hybrid batteries then, doesn't it? So So yeah, quite a small battery there. Then also we've got the front bumper reinforcement, and that's the front panel, top panel,
Yeah,
isn't
the
it?
slab
There,
panel.
yeah. So,
Top.
and then I said earlier about the inner wing liners. We already have the rears in stock. I looked at the front ones. The offside front was damaged. The near side one we put in stock, and we actually sold one of them before from an E-Class, not an E-Class coupe convertible, which seemed to be the same part number. So we sold that on eBay in December for £46 plus the VAT delivered. So that's definitely going in stock on that one. So like I said, we'll look at the wheels next, see if they're straight. They'll probably need refurbing, and let's go from there. So I forgot about this bumper. Now we've taken this bumper off, it looks good to go into retail stock. I was quite concerned about some damage around here, potentially about any kind of brackets broken, but all seems to be good on both sides. So we'll get this cleaned up, we'll get the other parts cleaned up, and then we'll get them through to our BH1 facility to get checked over. They'll get pre-packaged, so on the shelf ready to go for a next day delivery. What's next for this vehicle? We're going to take all the copper wiring out, any aluminium bits that we might see, and separate them. And then unfortunately it's just going to go straight into the crusher. There's like I said, there's some water damage in the footwell and interior, so there's no value in those seats as a scrap. The doors are left on the bonnet and the tailgate because they're not aluminium. If they were aluminium, we would have separated them. So yeah, we'll get that into the crusher, and we'll get the parts listed on the shelf, ready to go on eBay. That will be the next episode, so tune in, like and subscribe for more.